Hey YouTubers, it's Charlie. So AMC just aired a first look at season 5 of The Walking Dead. They had a whole bunch of details on the story and interviews on the set, so this is going to be a breakdown of all that stuff, as well as the new footage. They even had some fun facts about stuff that happened back in season 4, like that house that Beth and Daryl went to. They had like a whole backstory for that got cut out in the script phase. Hello to any new people. If you're just finding me for the first time, I'm doing weekly Walking Dead videos while we wait for season 5 to get here. Be sure to subscribe to get everything. They haven't officially said whether or not it's going to be the middle of October like it was last year, or it's going to be some other week, but it will be in October. That has been confirmed. So let's just go ahead and do a breakdown of that new footage, and then I'll talk about my top 10 new things that we learned during the special. So the footage isn't an official trailer. It was just a quick 20 seconds of Carol, Tyrese, and baby Judith on their way to Terminus. They were simultaneously following the railroad tracks to get to Terminus and trying to avoid a giant walker parade. It actually kind of reminded me of that giant parade that Daryl and Michonne ran into when they first heard the Terminus signal in that charger. I can't confirm that it was the same herd that they ran into, the one that Carol and Tyrese were trying to avoid, but it seems like over the last 16 episodes or so of season 4, we've seen a mass walker migration, so I'm hoping that they pay that off sometime in season 5. Those walkers that they were hiding from in the clip were definitely heading towards Terminus. Yes, they walk slowly, but I've seen a few behind the scenes images of the set where they shoot the Terminus scenes, and it looks like something might be going down. So real quick, just careful potential spoilers for season 5. So if you don't want to know anything, just skip forward in the video like 25 seconds. So as you can see in these pictures, there's some kind of giant explosion at Terminus. I think it has something to do with the survivors trying to escape, and it also might have something to do with the walker parade reaching Terminus. I know that doesn't sound super spoilery. I mean, obviously something's gonna blow up eventually. It is Walking Dead. I'm expecting that first trailer, the Comic-Con one, to drop Friday, July 25th. That's just the day I think that the Walking Dead panel is going to be on. They haven't announced it yet officially, but since Saturday is Marvel and DC all day in Hall H, I just think they're going to do like Walking Dead and Game of Thrones on Friday. I will, of course, be doing a mega breakdown video whenever that comes. But now let's talk about the top 10 things that we learned in the special. Number 10, Terminus is not a trap, it's a test. They talked a lot about the conceit of that unlocked gate at Terminus. Like, why, if you're living in this kind of world with such a huge, chompy threat walking around, why would you leave your front gate unlocked? The simple answer is that it's a test. The people at Terminus are just testing people that come along to see what they do, how they react to the unlocked gate and all the flowers. Scott Gimple pointed out that there were roof snipers, and the Terminus people pretty clearly have been doing whatever it is they're doing for a long time, so they have the routine down cold. I think the really interesting question here is that what are some of the ways that you can fail that test? I mean, obviously Rick failed it because he learned a few strange things that he probably wasn't supposed to learn, and everyone just started pulling guns. Number 9, not all the people at Terminus are creepy cannibals. Gimple definitely danced around the cannibal question. He didn't say flat out yes or no, but he did give this weird Luke Skywalker stormtrooper analogy. Like, he said that had Luke been allowed to go to the academy in episode 4 like he wanted, he would have become a stormtrooper and worked on the Death Star just like any other person. That wouldn't necessarily have made him a bad person, it would just made him a person working for the Empire. It would just have become his reality, and he would have had to go on making decisions using the same logic he did back on Tatooine. What I think that means is that not all the people at Terminus are going to be creepy cannibal people. It's just that due to circumstances, they find themselves surviving on the only thing available. They don't believe in what they're doing in a creepy philosophical way, they're just trying to survive. The bottom line is that not all the people at Terminus are going to be evil. They're just going to be victims of circumstance, just like the survivors. Number 8, the premiere is going to be explosive. I actually kind of took this in a literal sense. I know a lot of you guys are theorizing that Morgan would return and somehow save them, or Carol and Tyrese would show up and do something. Both are possible, and we did see that walker parade, so that could also be a factor, but I'm not expecting any of the survivors to escape Terminus right away. I do think they're going to get out of that train car in the first 2 episodes. And yes, everyone inside the train car, the survivors, are turning into a pack of wild dogs. They're getting backed into a corner, but I don't think getting out of that train car is going to be just a physical fight. They're not just going to barrel out and shoot everyone. I think they might try to use Eugene's cure. They're going to at least talk their way out. Eugene is really good at talking. That mullet is surprisingly disarming. Lauren Cohan and the producers just kept saying that the early episodes would be crazy, and then there'd be a left turn, then crazy again, then another left turn. I feel like what's going to happen is they're going to talk their way out of the train, then it's going to get crazy, they're going to find out about all the cannibalism, and then Carol and Tyrese are going to show up. Number 7, people that we did not think could be badasses are going to get to be a badass. Of all the people in the train car Lauren Cohan could have been talking about, I think she was referring to Tara. No matter what happens, I just don't equate Eugene with potential badass. Tara, on the other hand, is one of those people who's been like a deer caught in the headlights. She got injured on her way to Terminus, and she's been super depressed about the governor thing. I'm really hoping that she gets to have like a hero moment in the premiere. Aisha Tyler was talking all about the 3 questions. It's about weeding out the weak people, the ones that don't have the potential to survive, or at least contribute to everyone's survival. Tara seems like someone who's gonna get there, she just hasn't been pushed over the edge far enough. I think her being in that train car is gonna be that last push over the edge. I really wanted to see her go crazy on some Terminus people. That would be a lot of fun. On to number 6, we will learn what happened to Beth very quickly. That is to say, we will not have to wait a long time. I don't know if she's going to be in that first episode, but they kind of implied that she is. And more along the lines of the badass talk, I saw a lot of rumors last year saying that her character arc this year would be more about her becoming more of a leader. That definitely fits with Lauren Cohan's comments that, people previously not seen to be badasses will be badasses. Beth was getting pretty mean with Daryl's crossbow until she got snatched. Supposedly, she's going to show up somewhere outside of Terminus. And it may or may not be with that new character that Seth Gilliam is playing, the one that looks like Father Gabriel. Number 5, the funeral parlor was not a trap. I love the explanation that it belonged to this very nice funeral director who was just cleaning up bodies and burying them until one day he just got killed on one of his runs. They cut it out during the script phase, so it was never filmed, but I think that means that the dogs that we heard and Beth's kidnapping were unrelated events. No one was using the house as a trap for Terminus or somewhere else. The thing that really set the rumors off was the fact that there was so much food there. It was fully stocked, and that just did not compute with all the other houses that people had been in that season. Number 4, they're going to be jumping around with comic book references. Right now, where they are in the show is right around where the Hunters appear in the comics, but Gimple said that they're going to be doing scenes from way back in the comics too, so it's not like you can just go forward one issue of the comic for each episode. That's not really a huge surprise. I mean, even when they do straight up adaptations, like when Rick bit that guy's neck, it wasn't a straight page to screen adaptation. I am really curious to see what that scene is, the one from way back. It might be a flashback because they did a ton of those in season 4. I think my favorite flashback last year was whenever Michonne was flashing back to her life whenever Andre was still alive. Number 3, Rick is going to get vicious governor style. They spent a lot of time talking about the similarities between Rick and the governor and made it sound like if the governor hadn't lost his daughter, he'd have made a way better leader than Rick. The issue they raised is that Rick just tries to make too many decisions based on emotions, like he gets way too emotional. He just doesn't have that creepy calmness that Gareth has been giving off, and now that he's just bit someone's ear off and killed the farmer Rick inside of him, he's probably going to get even crazier. Not like Looney Tunes crazy, but he's going to be much quicker to violent action. Number 2, Terminus will be the biggest threat that survivors have faced. I was actually surprised when they said that because the governor and Woodbury were a pretty huge threat, and the tank assault last season was a pretty big deal. The reasoning they provided for that comment is that the Terminus people just have a well-oiled machine. It's just like they've been doing what they're doing with the survivors now many times before. I just wonder how they're going to deal with that giant Walker parade that Carol and Tyrese are bringing. I feel like no amount of roof snipers would be able to deal with that kind of horde. And my number 1 moment, Gareth is explained. Andrew West had this really cool interview where he spelled Gareth out pretty clearly. He's going to try and open up the survivors to this new way of life and try to get them to see what life can be in this new world that they're living in. And that just sounds really hippie and new agey and totally weird. What I think that means is that, yes, I still believe he's a cannibal, and he's just going to try and brainwash everyone in this really subtle way into thinking that cannibalism is a good idea. Like whenever someone you know that's a vegan tries to convince you that it's way healthier than not eating animal protein, he's just going to try and get everyone hyped about the weird co-op sustainable community he's got going on at Terminus. I mean, it just screams crazy cult leader brainwashing. But now it's your turn. Let me know in the comments, what was your favorite moment from the special? And based on that new footage, what do you think that Carol and Tyrese are going to do once they get to Terminus? I mean, honestly, I think that they're just going to try and do the same thing that the walkers back at the prison did. They're going to try and let them mass on one of the fences just until it gets torn down. So in related news, I will be doing a Q&A for this video tomorrow. Be sure to subscribe to get it. You can actually click here to get all out of the annotation as soon as I post it. And you can click here to learn about some of the new characters coming into Season 5. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys tomorrow. High fives.